Hi and welcome to Outwell and to the Tomcat 5SA from our Smart Air collection. This is a 5-person family tent which has 2 bedrooms at the back, a good sized sealed living space at the front and this large extended canopy on here, all of which we will show you in detail shortly. So with the tent being from our Smart Air collection, you'll find that we're using our advanced air tube system on here. Now what that means is that all of these tubes are actually all interconnected from front to back, allowing for really quick and easy inflation and deflation as well. In terms of material that we're using on here, this is as good as it gets when it comes to polyester tents from Outwell. This is our Outex 6000. So this is a premium quality taffeta polyester material which has a hydrostatic head of 6,000 millimeters. It's fully PU coated on the inside and all of the seams have been taped as well to ensure that, as I say, you have the hydrostatic head of 6,000 mil, keeping you completely dry no matter what the rainfall. So just to highlight that this fly sheet has been fully UV treated to ensure that you get maximum lifespan for the tent. In terms of features around the outside of the tent, there's certainly plenty to talk you through, and I'll start here with our air effective ventilation system here. So this is where we have this real sleek and streamlined ventilation down the side and across the back of the tent. Underneath here there is a mesh ventilation panel at the top, just to reduce condensation of course and keep you a little bit cool and comfortable on those warmer days. If it is a little bit chilly or perhaps at night time, what you can do is close these down like so, just to keep you that little bit more cozy on the inside of the tent. We also have our luminous guy lines throughout the tent as well, so hopefully you're not going to trip over these quite as easily when it's a bit darker. And we have our well-known and respected guy line retainer on here as well, so when it comes to taking the tent down, we can simply wrap up the guy lines and pop them in here so that the next time you come to use the tent, they're going to be easily accessible and you're not going to be all in a big tangled mess. You can see here that we have a full side door on this side, which has a full waterproof door rolled away at the moment. There is also a mesh door behind here as well. And what we'll do is just pop around to the other side to show you some more important features. So also on this tent, on this side, we have a large rain-safe entrance on here, which is created using a full-length alloy pole, so it goes all the way down to the ground for maximum stability, and then of course just pops through a pole sleeve at the top here, and then it's pegged out, giving you this really good sized entrance here. So if you are not using that front canopy, which we'll come on to in a second, then this is actually a really good usable entrance because you've got the shelter of course across the sort of sealed ground sheet area here. This porch area, if you like, also has a detachable ground sheet in here, which you can see in place at the moment. So this is the same type of material that we're using in the tent, so good quality, totally waterproof, and it just clips into place, so you don't have to use it if you don't want to. But this certainly provides a really good area for you to be able to take off things like muddy shoes and boots, or if you've got wet jackets or over trousers and things like that, you can certainly do that before stepping into your nice sealed area. We also then have some windows in this area as well, but each window does have a curtain on the inside here. So even if you have smaller, younger kids, then you could easily place a portable toilet in here and keep all these windows closed over for the privacy aspect. So earlier I mentioned that this tent is part of our Smart Air collection and that all of the tubes are all interconnected, which means that there is only one plug-in point for the pump to inflate the whole thing, which is just located in this corner here. It's quite clearly marked on here, it says air in. So just in behind that is a valve where you can attach the pump and start inflating the tent, and the whole thing will go up in one. Just underneath you'll see that there is another one here that says air out. So you will find that each tube that runs across the side of the tent does have its own outlet valve, so when it comes to taking the tent down we can just simply open these up, and in here is the release valve. We open that up and the air will come rushing out, and yeah, makes it really easy to take the tent down. We supply the pump with the tent of course, and it's a two-way double action pump just like this one here. So what the two-way and double action part means is that every time you pull the lever up and push it down, you are actually inflating the tubes, which is what makes it so quick to inflate. We also have a pressure gauge just on top of the pump as well, so you can keep an eye on the pressure when you're inflating the tent of course, and we would recommend inflating this tent up to 7 psi, which represents about 0.5 bar. So here we are back at the front of the tent, because I want to now talk you through the extended canopy, which does come as part of the tent. It's really easy and simple to set up. Once the tent is inflated, you simply just need to zip this canopy on. Of course you can see this in our setup films online on our YouTube channel as well. So the canopy obviously is a really good length, so it gives you a great sheltered area. So if you're lucky enough for it to be kind of hot and sunny outside, then it certainly gives you a good shaded area to be able to sit in. Or if you're a little bit more unlucky and it's a little bit drizzly, then you certainly get plenty of shelter out the front of the tent here as well. And of course, it does also cover that front door area too. So I've said it zips on at the back here. So just to highlight, at the front, we have a solid steel pole here creating the front part of the canopy itself. So really strong, sturdy and stable. And we also have good quality storm guy lines on the front there as well. If you don't want to use the canopy, or if the wind really picks up and you want to take it down, of course you can just easily do so by unzipping at the tent. So just to the front of the tent itself then, the first thing I want to actually highlight is a shape that we have on this tent here. So you can see that we actually have this peak at the top here. So this is a sort of Gothic arch shape, if you like. And when we're inside, you'll see what that does is gives you great head height within the tent. The door itself is a D-door style. So this is where it rolls to the side instead of up the way. So it's certainly a lot easier to manage, and it just rolls and toggles into position as we have done here. It is a good size, of course, so that's going to allow you easy access in and out of the tent, and it will make getting all of your kit in and out of the tent easier as well. Into the tent itself, we have a fully sealed ground sheet from front to back and side to side in here as well. It's bathtub in style, so it is coming up around the edges, which you hopefully will be able to see around the edge just here. So when it comes up to the side like this and then is sealed in, that's going to stop any drafts. It's going to stop things like dirt, dust and sand, of course, and more importantly, hopefully keep out those unwanted bugs as well. It is a tough and durable material. It's a double-coated polyethylene material which has a hydrostatic head of 10,000 millimeters, so of course it's totally waterproof as well. A great feature of the ground sheet is the fact that it is flat across the front here like this, but what we do have is a zip that runs along the front here, which then actually has a PVC cover on it as well. And that's there so that if you don't want it as a flat sort of easy access door, then this can be brought up so that when you zip the door closed, you can actually seal the door along the bottom of the ground sheet as well, keeping the tent completely water and weatherproof. So just stepping into the tent, as I mentioned there, it should be quite obvious and apparent that there's certainly plenty of head height in here. I'm quite tall, about 1.95 m, and I can stand up in here and still have plenty of space above me. So what I want to do also is just highlight up here what I was mentioning earlier on, which was of course our advanced air tube system, where all of the tubes in here are all interconnected, and that's using these tubes like this here. What you will find is then each one of these tubes, so at the front, at the middle and towards the back, all have isolation valves, which are just simple to switch to the off position like this here. What that does is individualizes each tube, so that in the unlikely event of something going wrong, the whole tent's not going to drop down. You can actually separate all of these tubes very easily with these valves. So some other features just to highlight, I've actually already mentioned there's a side door here with a full mesh door, which we have rolled away at the moment, but if you want great ventilation within the front area of the tent, then you can certainly drop that down, no problem. There is another one on the side porch door as well, which we actually have zipped away at the moment, just like this here. We do have a lantern hanging point in a central location up towards the top of the tent. Just in here, you can see here. So you can hang your lantern in here and then actually heading both ways away from that. We then have some cable tidies which will run down to where we have a cable entry point. And this is a good way of showing you that even when the door is fully closed and zipped like this, we can still open up the tent to allow us to run some cables into the inside so that you've got your electrics in the tent without having the doors open. At the back of the tent is where the bedrooms are located, and as I mentioned earlier on, the tent can sleep up to 5 people. What I do want to just highlight though is that these bedrooms do come pre-attached, so that's a job that you don't need to worry about. They're already in place for you. So the bedrooms themselves have got plenty to talk you through as well. So if I start on the outside, you see that we've got these handy storage pockets, ideal for smaller personal possessions. You can probably just see it on the door at the moment here as well, on both doors rather. We do have mesh ventilation panels on here as well, so you can of course get well ventilated within the bedrooms. And there are curtains on these as well, which we have zipped up at the moment. So your choice, you can have them open or closed of course. Inside the bedrooms themselves is really where the difference is. So this bedroom configuration is using our master bedrooms. So what that means is that we're actually having a bedroom which is far more spacious than what you might find elsewhere. These are actually 250 centimetres deep from front to back, and the industry standard here is normally about 215 centimetres. Here you can actually see this in good use, because this camp bed that we have in here is actually one of our bigger camp beds, and it fits fantastically well within this bedroom and still gives you plenty of space for perhaps side tables, or even another bed or a double bed, or again whatever setup you have, it will suit very well. Also within the bedroom then we have some handy storage pockets in this rear corner, and it is the same in the other bedroom as well, so those are great for smaller bits and pieces. All the way around the bedrooms though is where we have something quite different as well. You can see here we actually have some windows located within the bedroom. So what that's going to allow for is, of course, for you to have some daylight coming into the bedroom during the day. So if you just want to chill out in your bedroom, perhaps read a book, and you want that little bit more light, then that's going to give you that. It's also, of course, going to give you views out of the tent from within the bedroom. If, of course, you need your privacy and you want these windows closed, then what we can do is just open up the zip on the side of the inner tent here, and you'll find a curtain located in here, which can just be toggled into position all the way along here to close off the windows if you need to. The ventilation on here also corresponds to the ventilation that we talked about on the outside of the tent, and of course it's the same across the back as it was at the side here. Also towards the back of the bedroom you'll see that we have a handy sort of hanging rope, if you like, so great for lighting or perhaps any wet clothing or anything like that. You can pop that up here, no problem at all. Also, just to highlight, we have our night sky ceiling within the bedrooms, so if you're camping in those long summer days when the sun's up very early, hopefully that will keep you sleeping for that little bit longer. But also, of course, the sun doesn't set till quite late. That will keep it that little bit sort of more calm within the bedrooms as well. So the bedrooms can be separated, as we have here with this large dividing sheet in the middle, which is actually zipped into place at the moment. But we can open this whole thing up to create one large big bedroom easily, just by removing that and rolling it away. Something else this tent features is our universal inner, which is what this zip down the middle here is for, and we'll just show you now how that works. So we have a good selection of optional extras available for the tent, including a 3-layer insulated carpet for the living area, just like this one here. There's also a standard fleece carpet available for the inside as well. There's a footprint available to go under the ground sheet of the tent. It's going to give good protection and of course keep it nice and clean and dry on those wet and muddy days. There is also a front awning available for the tent for those who want a more sealed and enclosed living or storage space. So there you have it then, that's all the features of the great Tomcat 5 SA from our Smart Air collection. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, this tent can be inflated using our Typhoon 12-volt compressor pump.